So, we spent the week in La Center, Kentucky. You all know where that is, right? That's what we say. Kind of like when people ask us about Nanjamoy, right? Where is that? La Center is a impoverished area. Industry has dried up there. Jobs have dried up there. There are a lot of empty buildings from closed down buildings. Even from the last time we were there 3 years ago, there was a new Dollar General that apparently became a Dollar Tree that was closed in 3 years. That's not uncommon throughout our country today, right? However, God is at work with the team effort and other groups that are serving that area. Your youth are remarkable, and I say that every year, but they have been every year, you know. From our very first trip to Cherokee, North Carolina, who Lisa and I were on together. Chris was there, 16 years ago. And how we've seen it grow through the years. And the Spirit of the Lord that lives in your kids. Not by anything that we do, but by what He does. And so on this trip, we had 3 pretty big projects. We had a big fence to complete. And understand this, whenever we go to a job, there's always more to do. So the homeowner says, well, while you're here, so somebody said that they were going to fix this, and somebody said they were going to fix that. And so the list grows. But because of the number of people we had on this trip, we were able to tackle 3 big projects. The fence, which they built themselves. They put up the stringers, they put the pickets up and screwed each picket. They dug each hole. They were in mud. Those that were doing the fence were in mud most of the week. I mean, you probably noticed their clothes; they can't get the mud out. Had problems trying to figure that out. Actually, the biggest problem for them was figuring out how to put the metal shed together from Temu. So, any of you guys that know anything about Chinese stuff, they had to get Jason because he learned how to do erector sets when he was a kid. So the other project was we had to build a 4x8 deck, and then off of that a 24-foot ramp for a woman who was still in the hospital. Who, by the way, if you would pray for her. Muffy Thomas, who is actually taking a turn for the worse. Anyway, hopefully she'll come home and be able to use that ramp that your kids built. And you saw some pictures of it. And then the big project was putting an addition, a 2-room addition on a house for a grandmother who has custody of 8 of her grandchildren. Now, for you, the grandparents, can you imagine having 8 of your grandkids with you all the time? And Tamara was her name. She was also the main cook at the restaurant that fixed us breakfast every morning. And then, of course, was also our favorite restaurant to go to. So. But she was there every day. She'd been there for 40 years. but she just got her 8th grandchild, which was an infant recently. So they had to build this room because she had a 2-bedroom home. So she, needless to say, needed the extra room. Your sons and daughters were able to get the walls up, get the center wall up, get the roof trussed, and got 2 lines of sheathing up on either side so that another group of the contractor that lives there is going to get his friends to come and finish putting it under roof and drying it in for the winter time so that they can work on it. So that'll be done. Well, it was supposed to be done this week. So I meant to call John and find out. And that's our contractor. The theme for this year was open-handed. And for some reason, this hit me really hard. Sometimes it's kind of generic to me, but this is one of those themes that just hit me. I mean, if you think of your hand and you think of all the things that we hold on to, everybody go like this. All the things we hold on, I want you to squeeze because you're holding on. The things that we hold on to, that we think are important here. But God wants us to open our hands. Open our hands that He might fill it. And the more I thought about it all week, I thought about how important that is for each one of us to open our hands and let God. And so, your youth and your adult chaperones were certainly Spirit-led. It was certainly one of the best trips that we have had. I don't know if it's because we were the only group there. I don't know why, but everything just kind of clicked. I mean, everything. Our ladies led worship at chapel because I was told that that the guys that were the counselors there that week couldn't sing a lick. And they were right. I stood by them. So I sounded good. No, I'm kidding. So our ladies picked the songs, they led the songs every night. And it was a blessed time. I want you to open your hearts to what they have to say about how God moved in their life. But first, we have 6 people that weren't able to be here today. So we got a little something.
Hi everyone, my name's Ella. This was my 7th mission trip. I would say that my high this year was seeing our newer Jesus Mafia going on their first ever mission trip and just being so open-handed, excited, and ready to serve our Lord. And my low would have to be saying goodbye to my Kentucky grandma.
Hey Jesus Mafia, it's Bree. This was my 3rd year going on a mission trip, and I am so blessed that I was able to go. I'm so bummed that I won't be able to be here this week, but my high was definitely the whole mission trip was just a blessing. I went there to serve the Lord, and I definitely did that. But my all-time favorite night was probably when me and a few other of the youth, we were sitting in the gym. We were just worshiping by ourselves. We had our guitars, our voices. It was just amazing. I wouldn't say I really had a specific low, but I guess it would have been hearing some of the testimonies throughout the week, just because they were just a little bit sad, but it's amazing to see how much the Lord has worked through all of us and how active He is in all of our lives. So yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Bailey. This is my 3rd year going on a team effort mission trip with the Jesus Mafia. The high of the week was definitely getting to learn about the homeowners and hear their testimonies, hear their stories, and get to share ours with them. And also I would like to add that just getting to grow closer with Jesus alongside some of your best friends, and getting to learn more about them and grow closer to them is just such an amazing experience. And it truly was just the best week. Everything about it was just such a high, and I'm so thankful for the experience.
Hi, this is Ethan Barrow. This is my 6th mission trip with SBC Welcome. And my high of this trip, probably just the overall experience on the work site. And obviously, my faith growing more and more. But I feel like I learned a lot this year on the work site, and that we were all very productive. We sent 3 different groups out, so I felt like we were all very productive. My low, honestly, it's hard to say a low because I just always have such an amazing time on these trips. I wish I was still there, honestly. And I didn't have a low. The food was good. I didn't mind sleeping in a bunk bed. I had a great time.
Hi, I'm Kaylin. This is my 2nd mission trip with Team Effort. And my high of the trip was meeting our homeowner Frank, and my low was probably the really long car ride.
Hi guys, it's Eli, and this was my 4th year on the mission trip with Team Effort. My high for the week was just getting to connect deeper with the rest of the people in the youth group and just being able to grow our relationships deeper. And my low was probably leaving and having to say goodbye to Mr. Frank, because he was just really nice and a really great homeowner.
Hi everyone, my name's Ella.
So that was one way to include those that couldn't be here today. So I'm going to ask your youth to come up front here. Come on. All right, find a place. Hannah. All right. Did you guys enjoy this trip? I didn't hear you. So we're going to ask you a couple of questions, and then I'm going to ask you some deeper questions. So we're going to let Miss Ellen go first.
Nice. All right. Well, we spent a lot of the mission trip asking one particular question, socks or no socks. Maybe self-diagnosing some spectrum. However, that's not the question I'm going to ask today. Today, I would like to ask if you could teleport our church family right now to a moment in time during the trip. What part of the trip would you take them to experience? And then if you have it, you can go to one of the mics, any of them.
Go take the wireless.
The blue one. We're going to pass around. Thanks. So if you could teleport our church family to a single moment of the trip to experience it with you, what would it be?
Oh, there we go. If I could teleport y'all, I would probably teleport y'all to the moment where this little boy Nigel was talking about how excited he was that he could probably finally get his own space with his brother, because a couple of us were on the what's that thing called? The addition project, and it wasn't until a couple of days after we started that we started seeing the kids come out and be more active with us. And I know Hannah got Nigel to open up a lot, and just hearing his excitement and just hearing, I don't know, just like the struggles of the grandma. You know, she's very like exhausted and busy. So just to hear like her grandson being so excited about something that's coming up was, yeah, I think it was just a really wholesome moment.
Nobody wants the church with them?
I would say if I could teleport y'all to a moment on the mission trip, I'd definitely have to say just chapel during any part of the week, just because I feel chapel is just very moving and just a great time to worship with the youth. So
I would say either after the workday and we're all at the like school place where we were living and everyone's like running around and having a good time. I think that shows like kind of all of our personalities. Or after on the last day when we were done with all the sites and we could show you like all the stuff we did and worked on.
I think I'd take you guys to that. It was a night we were in the gym. We were in the back area towards the front. And we all gathered there to then worship. But it wasn't like coordinated or anything. We were just all coming to the gym to have fun. And then we were all like, oh, look, they're singing. And then we all came and sung. But I think it'd be really nice to do it with all you guys, because we know it'd be like empowering in a way.
I would say if I could teleport like everyone here to a certain area or a certain time, I would say I would take you to where everyone was like, I believe they were done with the ramp and the fence, so like everyone came to the addition part, and I feel like that's when everyone bonded the most, when everyone was there.
Okay. What gifts has God given you that you can use to serve others? Could be anything. Could be what you do for work. I don't know. Like a talent, I don't know.
A gift.
A gift. You guys all have a gift.
Did you learn something on the trip that you didn't know before?
I think the background of me like doing engineering and then the erector sets, that was really a part that helped me help Frank in his lovely shed. Love that thing. But I don't think I would have been able to get it done if I had like no experience in the field and being able to read all the stuff that's on the paper.
I mean, I wouldn't really say it's like a talent, but like just my willingness to be present in the moment, to just be available. I feel like that can probably apply to a lot of us on the trip. Like us just being open to like anything happening has probably put us in positions where we've connected with the homeowners, or we've just had, I don't know, a moment where we could serve in another way.
Okay. I loved being on this mission trip with you guys, like watching all of you guys grow in each of your little talents. And Luke, I agree, like hanging out afterwards and like everybody running around and everybody winding up in different spots. And you guys commingled so well. Like everybody wound up, like I wound up seeing people that I did not expect together in the gym and like talking and worshiping together, which was amazing. My question for you guys is, since you've been home, how have you guys been open-handed?
I would say, just like when something happens, you don't think like, or at least me personally, not anymore, just being like, why me? You know, like, why does God have to do this to me? And just be more like, this is what God wants me to be, and I'm exactly where he needs me to be at. So I just have to, just think that way.
I've been more open to doing like chores and job stuff when someone asks me to. Like if it's can you help me do something over here? Even if it's like the third thing I've done that day, it's the same thing over and over. I'd still do it because being that God gave me that opportunity, there's got to be a reason for it.
Okay, my question was, what is one thing that you feel like the Lord was trying to teach you this week, whether that be through chapel and the messages at chapel or missions and serving in general? What's one thing that you feel like the Lord was teaching you throughout the week that we were serving?
Patience. Like a lot of patience for sure. And I think it definitely did improve. Just in every situation, on the work site, you have to be patient. With our job on the edition, it felt like we did so much in a day, but we look at it and it looks the same. And it's just like, I feel like it definitely made me more patient with things and accepting this is how it's going to be and we're going to get it done anyway, so. Yeah.
I would kind of say what Sarah said with like willingness, because we were all like, for me, I was always willing to just do another job and keep going and just keep working on my job. And I think we probably worked, like we definitely worked a little more than we had to. We did some extra, but we were all willing to do that together. So I'd say willingness.
I'll go real quick. Probably one thing that the Lord's taught me on this trip is surrender is daily. So like it doesn't have to come around with like a big God moment where you like put something down at the cross or you finally go to God for this one thing you struggle with. Like I learned that it has to be a daily surrender and a daily encounter with him in order to get like real progress done. So yeah.
What was y'all's favorite time with the homeowners or their families, or even the kids in the neighborhood?
I would say my favorite time with the homeowner and like everyone else there is when like there were some kids in the neighborhood and we all just like started to play baseball in the field by the house.
That was mine also, but also just like there was a time where I sat on the porch for like probably 45 minutes and I was just talking to both the kids and kind of like what Sarah said, they were talking about how so excited they were that we were doing this for them. And it's a lot when you have maybe 7 cousins, because the one kid was talking. Yeah. to like 7 cousins, and they're all mashed up between the 2-bedroom house, and it's like the level of like freedom they're gonna get now when we build these 2 extra bedrooms is just amazing, and it's awesome to see like how excited the kids are and how grateful they are, and they really show it towards you, and yeah.
I think Chris has something to say. Mark or Chris?
The audience start calling you. I think the boys said the same thing that Andrew said. Yeah. The baseball. Yeah. Oh, they had the same thing.
Who put the water bottle through the kid's back tire so he sounded like a motorcycle?
I did.
Dylan did. Yeah.
All right. This is one for. Has to be on. This is one for everybody to respond to. Okay, everybody raise your hand. That means everybody with their hand raised. Gonna respond, okay? How did you, better than that, where did you see God move during your week? Don't say at lunch.
Dinner. I would definitely say, where did I see God move? In people. I'm not gonna say names, but like, there's someone I know who went on the trip who, you know, they went last minute. They didn't have like a relationship with Jesus at the time, and like, when they went on that trip, like, you could see Jesus working through them and how they opened up each day more and more, and it was just like really sentimental because, you know, it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't speak, but yeah.
Somewhere I saw God moving at is definitely the job site. Just seeing, you know, God working through everybody and nobody's complaining, no matter how hot it got or how hard it got or anything like that. We all just pushed through just because we know it was serving the Lord and helping the homeowner. So.
I would say I saw God in worship.
After the work site, when we were all hanging around and playing, like with Andrew, playing with the water guns or Nerf guns.
I can agree with what Caitlin said, like people who you might not think that you would see together, but then like you can see them hanging out after working. And also what someone said about not complaining, like everyone was really useful for what they did. Like when we couldn't figure out how to do the shed and Jason just pulled up and went to work and started putting that thing together. You know, everyone had a pretty big purpose and everyone got along great. So that's where I saw God.
I'd probably say in the gym when we all were all worshiping, because we kind of took that own initiative instead of being organized in chapel.
I think really Thursday got to me. Me, Eli, and Bailey, we were just finishing up the fence, coming around the corner, and we just all started singing this one song by Justin Bieber. It was really like a great time. And that's how I saw God working through me and getting to really know Eli and Bailey, being good friends with them. And that's how I saw it went that way.
I saw God when When we were worshiping in the gym. Yeah, I agree with Chris. It was really fun.
I saw God move in some of our older youth on Thursday night. I feel like people who have been on the trip, they kind of know what Thursday night means to them, and they have had many like trips where they have opened up about a lot of personal stuff. And there was a shift that I saw this mission trip, because not only were they being vulnerable about themselves, but they were also offering up like their attention and their ears to others who may be struggling, who wouldn't want to share it in like a 30-person crowd, because it is a vulnerable moment. But then I also saw it like once we all broke out, there was so many intentional conversations happening all around. Like, it wasn't one big one, which is okay, but it was a lot of our older youth stepping up, and like, I guess them being vulnerable opened up doors for a lot of intentional conversation.
I would say when we were taking a break at the ramp and praying with the homeowner for her mother, with Riley and Zion. And yeah, it was powerful.
I feel like I saw God through when everyone in the morning would go to either the gym or the door, or close to the door. When like the morning Devo, I believe.
I think I'd have to agree with the work site, because it was just like, as we were working, he was there, like a foreman next to Pastor Mark, and just pointing out areas, kind of like John. He was just there working with us and giving us that power we needed and the ideas that would push us through.
Where you saw God work?
Oh, where I saw God. Okay. I have to agree on Thursday night. It definitely moved me, and I saw God working through each of you as you broke out into the smaller groups, and I saw people head to the gym afterwards and hang out in there, and we wound up having to like kick you guys to bed, but you were still having meaningful conversations. It wasn't that we were like, you guys were still playing. It was very meaningful, and I saw God working through all of you.
I have to agree with all of you guys on what you said. So I'll just add that the community that we were with, they were all grateful for us being there and working with their community. So that was really nice seeing them being grateful.
So I have two things. One was Mr. Frank. He was the guy that owned the property. Well, he stayed at the property where they were building a fence. And early in the week, his nephew, who was a youth pastor at the church we stayed at, Pastor James, he stopped by and he told us, a couple of us, that, hey, if you get a moment to talk to my uncle, please do so, because his heart is so hardened to the gospel, to Jesus, to the church. He's very angry about his physical situation. And to give a quick background, Mr. Frank was a truck driver for all of his life, and he had a health issue where last year he was walking with a walker. This year he's walking with a cane, and he's a bigger guy, but his physical limitations drastically changed. And I watched these kids pray with him in the morning. They gave him a Bible the Gideons had stopped by and given us Bibles. The kids not only like took a Bible for themselves, but they're like, hey, can I have an extra one? And so they got an extra one so they could pass it out that week. And before I could tell them, my thought was, I want to tell the kids, hey, make sure you give Mr. Frank one of those Bibles, but I didn't even have to tell them, because before I could do it, they had already done that. They had already prayed with him, and I would just watch them minister to him in conversations. And by the end of the week, the conversation of, I really do need to just go to church, and I really do need to, his hardened heart was just starting to soften towards God. It wasn't like a why me, because that in the beginning of the week it was why me, why did God do this? And towards the end of the week it was more softened to hear the gospel and to hear God. Then second way I saw God, not only everything that they've said, but there was a small moment that 3 years ago, every day we get popsicles, and the church has a popsicle schedule where the older ladies or gentlemen at the church, they'll come and they'll deliver popsicles in the heat of the day. Well, sometimes the schedule got a little messed up, and we might have gotten 2 people, and we just didn't tell them. We just got popsicles. We're like, oh, wow, we've been waiting for this all day, And so early in the week, I asked Pastor James, I said, hey, 3 years ago, there was a couple that came and did popsicles. How are they? Because I knew Ella in particular really wanted to know if her Kentucky grandma, was still around and doing, and I wanted to know first, because I wanted to prepare her heart if maybe by chance God had taken her home, and were we going to have to deal with that conversation. So anyway, word had gotten back to Miss Peggy, the original popsicle lady from 3 years ago, and she picked up popsicles as soon as she heard that we asked about her. She showed up the next day. I think we were getting ready to have our normal popsicle lady come, but she came, and it was just like a little reunion between her and Ella and all of us. And she was so touched by them that the next night, was it that night for dinner? It was the next night at dinner. Little Miss Peggy comes, and she has a little bag full of chocolates and candies and all the things. And she just came over to the chaperones, and she's got tears in her eyes. And she said, I'm just so touched that they remembered me. She handed popsicles out. It wasn't this grand thing that she did for Jesus. It wasn't like she was willing, she went, she handed popsicles, they remembered, and because they asked about her, she was so touched that they remembered her. Like that small little thing that they did for Jesus, she did for Jesus, they remembered. And it just blessed my heart that, even the little things, the things that you guys did on the mission site that seemed minute. It didn't seem like a grand big thing that made a difference. You never know how those little things touch someone's life and how that makes a difference for them. So that was my God moment.
One way that I would say I saw God move throughout the week was just the hunger and the thirst for our youth to grow in their relationships with the Lord. One example specifically was, I know on our site when we were trying to get things figured out and there wasn't always something for people to be doing, a couple of our youth I saw in particular, they kind of got together and opened up the little Gideon Bibles that were handed to us, and they were reading and studying. So I pray that that hunger and thirst is something that doesn't fade away now that we've come back home.
When I saw God was with all you guys working. I mean, we did a lot this year. The 3 big jobs with sub jobs. I know at the addition we had a fence or a lattice work we did, 2 gates, an interior door, an exterior door, and a sink and a drain on top of building the addition onto the house. So I know you guys had the shed and you did the ramp, and then but you guys, just the amount of work with no efforts asked. You were always looking for something to do, always wanting to talk to somebody and, try to help where you could. That's really where I saw God this mission trip.
So I saw God everywhere, right? I see him in each one of you. Saw your willingness to be there. Give up a week of your summer where maybe you could have been on vacation or doing something else. Not working in what Tuesday it was 110 degrees, Wednesday it was 115 degrees, and you guys didn't complain. You said that. You kept working. You kept looking for more work. But here's the thing, is I saw God in your love for each other. Guys, I know you love each other. You don't want to say it. But also for everybody that you encountered, I think about the waitresses at the restaurant, and how much you showed respect. How many people at this restaurant came up to me as we were leaving that said this was the best group of kids, respectful, I'm not going to say quiet, but nice, a nice group of kids, and they were grateful that we were in La Center to help them. And so God was in all of you, whether you realized it or not. And you were able to do what you did because he was working in you. So we give him the glory, amen? God is good. And I love all you guys. All right, I got 3 real quick questions, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. Well, maybe not. All right. See, if I get too short, then you guys are going to expect that every week. All right. During our Devo time, okay, in a chapel every night, one of the counselors would take a part of their beginning of camp. We all get a Devo, and there's a lesson in each one of these for every night. So Monday through Thursday, one of the counselors will give a testimony based on what the Bible verse was in here and about their life. And the lesson again, the theme was about being open-handed. And for 4 days, there was a word for each night that the counselors gave their testimony on. Now, really quickly, just so you guys know about Thursday nights that they talked about, Thursday night has been dubbed Cry Night by us and many other team effort people. Thursday night is this very special, intimate chapel time. So during the chapel, we have the message, we have music, we have time with each other. Thursday nights, they do their message, and it was amazing. It was very touching, and it hit most of our kids. What do they say, in the feels? Anyway, so after the worship song, after the testimony, then they do a little skit, and after the skit, they come and they take us. They put a tiki torch in the middle of the field, and they take us out there, and then they talk to us for a bit, and in that circle, we share, and in that sharing, the rule is that what's said in that circle is not repeated. And so when that happens, after a little, quiet pressure, your kids start to share about things in their life. Not all of them, but and often that sharing results in tears, for whatever reason. But So that's what they talk about on Thursday nights, and being in a circle. So each of those days, starting on Monday, we actually had chapel on Sunday night, so Sunday through Thursday. We had one word for Monday, being open-handed, and the word was becoming. Can anybody tell me what becoming means to you? You need the mic.
Well, I think I should start off with what they explained to us, that becoming, as the disciples asked, what the ideal person was. And Jesus said unto them that it was kids, because they're carefree and they're not worried about what they'll eat tomorrow or what they'll have. They're glad to be given something than nothing. And I think that's a good piece to be, because we might not be kids, we might have jobs, but it's still the idea that we take from the Lord, and we're happy that He's given us something and we can give back to Him, and becoming something else as He wants us to be. It really puts that idea into our head of what we should be and what we should do, what we should want, the things we should think about. It's just that idea of what we could be.
I did. I think I resonated a lot with becoming, because just reflecting off of it, one thing I really took away was like we don't have to be clean before we go to the Lord. Like, He makes us who He wants us to be, and He will transform us into the person we're supposed to become. So I just had a visual of you don't take a shower before you shower. You don't clean your body off before you take a shower, if that makes sense. And that's just the mindset that I had to learn to have, because I like to hold on to the things that I've done in the past and things that make me dirty, and I don't even like to show the Lord, even though He already knows. But one thing I learned is just lay it out on the table, because He's probably the one person that won't ever judge you or ever shame you for the things that you've done, and He's the only person that can save you from that. So
All right, on Tuesday night, the word was humility. Who wants to talk about what humility means to you? Being humble. By not talking about it means you're not very humble.
It means humble, right? It's
Yes.
humble. Okay.
Yes.
To me, I feel that that's kind of doing something or helping somebody, and not going around telling people I did this, be proud of me or something like that. It's kind of worshiping the Lord behind closed doors and not telling anybody, just because it's you doing it, and you doing it out of the kindness of you, and not seeking praise from people. Yeah.
All right, the third night was giving. What did they say about giving? So you're all takers, you're not givers. You want to talk about giving? All right.
And that God gave his disciples, people in the neighborhood, bread and fish that he had very little of, and he handed it around, and that we should be more like him and give people more, give him more, be open-handed to him.
Okay. I would say, like, for me, you know, I have Jesus in my heart, and I have the knowledge of him, and not only do I have it, but I want to go out and give it to other people and, like, share and express what Jesus can do for you. And that's one of the reasons I feel we go on mission trips, because we're sharing the love of Jesus. We're helping people in need while also, you know, sharing the gospel, building our relationships too. And I just think it's really, yeah.
All right, the last night, Thursday night. This is a big word. Surrender. Not big in the number of letters, big in what it means. What is surrender? Dylan, what is surrender to you?
I would say that surrender is like giving ourselves to Christ and I need to.
Okay, I would say, so last year, Sarah was a counselor. That was last year? And she had mentioned something about offense. And it's like, you could say you love Jesus, you know, and everyone can. But, like, it's really like you have to choose between, like, love Jesus with everything. Like, give yourself completely to Jesus. Or, like, if you're not completely with the Lord, you're still not all the way there, you know? You really haven't surrendered or given your heart fully to the Lord. And Sarah mentioned last year, like, a fence. You can't... The fence was the devil, right? What was the fence? It's like the gray area. The gray area. And each side is, like, sin or the devil stuff. And then this is, like, your... Jesus, yeah. And you can't really lean on the fence. You got to pick a side and, like, devote yourself to it. So I think surrendering means, like, really leaving things alone and focusing on the Lord more and just, like, truly giving yourself to him 100%.
So it's like surrendering to the Lord and giving yourself to him and just like giving your heart to him and I guess your life so you could have that eternal life with Jesus in heaven.
Hold on, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, kind of with like the open hand, like I would say surrender is like just instead of like trying to do what you want, just surrendering to what God wants, open your hand and just go follow God's path and not your path and just surrender to what he has in store for you and not like what you want.
So, highs and lows. Everybody highs and lows. Okay? I'm going to start with Jay. I'm going to work to Chris. All right? One high and one low.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jason. My high would be the mission trip.
Yes.
Well, it could have been to like now from the mission trip, you know? My high from mission trip, I think would definitely have to be like, I don't know. The thing that comes to mind is Frank, and then hearing he rode motorcycles. I thought that was nice to hear, because it reminded me of my grandpa. And that he would ride when his leg healed. I thought it was really funny. And he said that I could visit any time to see him ride. And I got like excited because it reminded me. It was nice knowing that he did ride. It was a Harley. It just brought me closer to him, knowing he cared and didn't mind me coming over. Oh, my low. Sorry. My low. I enjoyed the car ride. I thought it was nice. I got to talk to all you guys. I think my low was bedtime because it was like the end of the day. And it meant like we had to like stop talking and just go to bed. Instead of like going on with the conversations or continuing to play in the gym.
I'm Abel, and I would say my high would definitely be like speaking to, or like just helping out everyone, and everything was a high, I guess. And a low, I would say waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning at the last day.
I'm Louis. My high was the work site, and my low, the drive.
Louis, by the way, is from France. This is his second year with us.
Oh. I'm Sarah, and my high was probably seeing all the neighborhood kids. I don't know. I don't live in a neighborhood, so I only watch that kind of stuff in the movies. So just to see like all like the, they're just like cool and doing wheelies and just riding bikes. I don't know. They're just like living out my dream. So I was just kind of living vicariously through them. And my low, so me and a couple people had a genius plan to play some pranks and to deflect the suspicion of me being the prankster. I pranked myself and I put toothpaste in my lotion bottle, and I had open I had open blisters, and it actually burned for like an hour. I'm not even joking. That was like the worst thing I probably could have ever done. But that was probably my low. What?
Louis did that. I asked Louis to steal the pillowcase because at the end we did like a fake yard sale with everyone's missing stuff, and he steals our chaperone's pillowcase, and he was mad about it the whole week.
They kept it the entire week.
Yeah. I don't really know what my high is. I feel like the whole trip was just magical. Like, I had a really great time. I don't know. Just, like, I would say the work site. I feel like we had a really good group on our work site. I got really close with the people who were on our work site. And my low was probably how bad my feet hurt from pickleball. I mean, I was crawling in the hallways. I could not walk. I would say the van ride, but I'm not joking. I probably slept like 15 hours of it. I was knocked out.
I'm Riley, and my high was playing pickleball I had a lot of fun playing paintball. But no, wait, yeah. I guess. My low was the van ride. It was really bad.
I mean, probably hanging out with all the girls in our room was really fun. This like one night, probably Thursday, we got all tattoos, different tattoos. Yeah, it was really fun. My low was probably saying goodbye to all like the people in the van ride.
I'm Jake, and my high was definitely all of us worshiping in the gym, like not actual like planned like chapel, but all of us just, you know, taking it upon ourselves to just go and, you know, worship in the gym. And my low was definitely the car ride.
My name is Dylan, and my high was like watching the ramp get built, because it like started off as like a little platform on concrete stairs. And then my low is Andrew. Because one night he came in our room and didn't stop shooting us with water guns till like 2 in the morning.
What'd you do, Dill?
How many gummies
did you smoke?
I threw gummies at his head.
My high was playing baseball with the neighborhood kids and getting to connect with them and each other. My low was definitely the van ride.
I'm Luke, and my high is probably seeing the fence like job site being finished and just lifting the shed and walking it over to its final resting place. And also just coming home after the work and everyone just, you know, having a good time with each other. And my low is the shed. Like, the shed was so bad. I did not like the shed.
I'm Chris, and my high was being able to work on the roof, and my low was not being able to finish the job. That's about it.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I think my high was connecting with not only the community members, but also our team effort counselors. One of our team effort counselors actually shared some things with us that he said that he had never shared with anybody during one of our worships. He said that even the team effort guys that he worked with hadn't known that story. So being able to connect with him through our work site and just chatting with him and everything and letting him be able to share that was a really big high. My low was probably having to come home. Like, I think being there and being able to connect with everybody and do the work that we were doing was important, and it was a good trip.
Hey guys, I'm Summer. I would say my high would be seeing them like connect with each other the way they did, even though they were the only group. It actually made them closer in a way. That was really nice. And I had a babysitting job at my work site with a 18-month-year-old. 18-year-old? 18-month?
18-month.
Year-old.
No.
No? 18-month-old.
There you go.
She gave me my run for my money, and she was all over the place, but it was great. My low would probably be the car ride there, headed there in the morning, and I was sleeping, and then I heard something in the van, and I woke up, and all I see is like clouds and no road. I don't see a road and just mountains. It was very scary. So I just closed my eyes, went back to sleep. Hopefully it would have been over. It was over, so it was nice. when it was over.
Just to let you all know, it's raining.
Oh, you're really wet. My high was, I think overall everything. I feel like this was like just as one of my favorite trips. The youth, I feel like maturity wise and their age, they're growing and just, I felt like there was no drama, there was no whining, it was just a wonderful trip with them, but then also having a great chaperone team also was amazing. Like, it wasn't stressful having the van that, just even though our low was the van ride, but it was amazing having a van, that safely got us there, right? Like, it wasn't like an added thing. But then the low definitely was, I remember saying, quote unquote, in the parking lot, Miles, I don't care where you go. Like, which way you want to go, I don't care, just not through West Virginia.
And I agree with you.
Until the GPS changed. It was like the perfect storm. Jake had to go to the bathroom 1.5 hours in. So he's like, I'll be quick. I'll catch up with y'all, which was a great plan, except our GPS at the same time in 2 different vans was like, hey, take this road instead. And you don't have time to, like, where's it taking me? Like, I can't even see. Like, I'm wearing glasses and I can't even read why it's shifting us off course. But long story short, we were in West Virginia, curvy roads. I don't like to take it. We have kids that get car sick easily. So, like, why would we go on these roads? And then the fog, the clouds, whatever you want to call it, we couldn't see, like, zero. The kids woke up and it's like, where's the road? They weren't joking. We could not see. And it's just like I kept praying and saying, Jesus, I just need the sun to come up. I just need the sun. I just need to be able to see. Are we by a cliff? Like, is this the cliff right there? Am I not by a cliff? Like, I just want to know what's around us. So, definite low. And 18 hours later, we got there.
My high was getting to know the group, not being in the group for the whole youth year, being able to get to know some of the chaperones, and I really cherish some of the conversations that I had with each of the youth throughout the week. And my low was the ride in the van.
All right, so my high was definitely the car ride in the van through the mountains, because it was the highest point in West Virginia. Just so you guys know, there's no mountain higher. We went to the top of that one and we're back down it. So pretty cool, right? You couldn't see nothing though because we were in the middle of a cloud. You couldn't see from the front of the van to the end of the stage, but we did it. We made it. The lines disappeared on the road a couple times. It was a little spooky, but it was definitely fun. Y'all were all sleeping until you woke up scared, but hey. We had a good trip. So yeah, that was my high. And then my low was having to leave because a lot of stuff was unfinished on the addition, but also because out of everything that we did do, that was the only thing that wasn't finished. I know everybody worked their free day and the half day to try to get it done, so that was the only low part of it.
You want me to talk slow so the rain will slow down? So my high, gosh, I think it was all high. I mean, I know that sounds kind of like a bailout or cop-out, but I can't think of anything over and above another. Your kids were phenomenal. They always are, but they were phenomenal. Their attitudes is like Ellen said, they have matured. And it just became such a beautiful time for all of us. Again, I think part of that was because we were by ourselves, and that helped a little bit. my car ride was perfect. You know, we had sunshine the whole way. Open 81 was wide open all the way to Tennessee until we hit 64, right? So Jake and I didn't have any trouble. So, matter of fact, we were driving like 70 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, trying to catch up with them. And about 10 miles in, I'm going, how fast are they going? So finally, I ended up calling Miles and said, where are you? He says, well. And then we tried to reconcile how we could meet up with them, right? Because we had all the tools. So if something happened, we would be able to help. We were going this way and they were going that way. We had to meet in Kentucky. That's where we met. Anyway, for me, there's not a low spot, man. I mean, there just wasn't. Great families, great area, great counselors, just the whole thing. Even the food was good, which is sometimes suspect. But everything was a beautiful, God-blessed time for all of us. And I'm so glad and proud to be able to work alongside of each one of you. Boys, do I have to separate you? They're brothers. So I want to give you guys my heart and a great big hand. All right, what do we got? One more song? We're going to have one more song, and then we're out of here. You all right with that? Okay, see the rain slowing down? Maybe. No, it's not. All right, y'all get ready to worship.